Thank you, Sister Kim Chu and Sister Cheng, for joining today's Sunday Pūjā. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Brother Tan Leng Huat to begin his Dhamma sharing.
Sadhu,
Please be invited.
sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Sister Lily. Thank you, all the sisters, for joining us this Sunday. And thank you, all the viewers, too. And happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day for all those fathers tuned into our channel. And of course, we are grateful to the ladies who made us fathers. Otherwise, we will not be fathers without the mothers. So we must also be grateful to the mothers. I'm grateful to my wife who made me the father. Okay, so we'll continue today with what we say, that what has inspired me now, what the qualities of the Buddha that has inspired me. Okay, sometimes I do get some kind of people asking us to clarify certain things that maybe I went too fast. Sometimes things that I went too fast exactly, basically. So they wanted to be clarified. So we will just revisit the whole thing, because I don't know, I like to go back together, because I'm sure each time when somebody requests something, you'll benefit the rest also. I'm sure. So now we have covered a few takeaways, I'm sure, from my sharing over the past 3 weeks on this subject of what I benefited from the Buddha, or how the Buddha, how I will want to emulate his qualities. And I made that statement that in Buddhism, wisdom is our salvation. Yeah. Okay. Many will want to ask, what do you mean by, wisdom is our salvation? Am I loud enough? I think can. Okay. What we're trying in the sense that the Buddha's enlightenment, what we are saying is the Buddha's enlightenment is not based on intellectual knowledge, but the direct experience of the nature of reality. And what do you mean by this again? I want to elaborate again. What I want to elaborate again is, you see, when the Buddha saw the four sights, what do you mean by when I say that it's not intellectual knowledge, but direct experience of the nature of reality? So referring to the four sights, when we revisit the four sights, the Buddha saw an old man, correct? When he saw this old man, what triggered him, we all see old men every day, but sometimes, okay, what triggered him? There are a few things that will have triggered him, I guess. Number one, he would have thought that, hey, because he loves his family very much. You don't think that he doesn't love his family? He deserted them, no. Maybe he was reflecting that, hey, my father is a warrior, such a powerful, strong man. But one day he'll become like that, as an old man. No, when we were young, there were many things we can do. But as we get older, there are many things that we think we can do. The mind is willing, but the body is not. So these are the things that he would have reflected. You see, that his father one day will become like that, a very old man and not able to fend for himself, maybe. And then reflecting back, he just got a child. Don't forget, he just got a child. And then reflecting that, this beautiful baby, that we all cuddle, will one day grow old also, So he loved them too much to see them going through this cycle over and over again. His beautiful wife is so pretty, who's so beautiful, will one day also be old. These are the things that triggered him, I guess. So he loved them very much. He loved them very much, Not that he doesn't, but he loved them so much, and he loved humanity so much that he feels that why should we go through this cycle and we become old? Then he saw a sick man again. He reflected, well, his father will become a sick man like that one day. A warrior, king, a warrior, so respected. People look highly upon his father will one day become like that. So these are the things. And this is beautiful baby again. The one that we can cuddle and love will also one day become like this. So these are the things he cannot accept in life. This is called experiential. He experienced this kind of feeling. Then he also felt that he himself as a young man will one day become like that. Also, his beautiful wife again becomes like that. So these are the things that triggered him. These are the foresight that triggered him. Not that he does not love his family. But because of his love for the family and love for mankind, he wanted to find solution for us not to go through this cycle over and over again. So then he saw a dead man, a corpse, where they want on a fire, where they want to burn. Again, he reflected, one day he has to do that to his father, and then the cycle will continue, every time he has a loved one, he has to go through the cycle, We go through the cycle all, many lives. We have gone through, we have seen orang mati, we have seen them being buried, but it doesn't reflect us, that we must overcome this problem. But it reflected on him, that he sees all these corpses, he sees all this, and he feels that, my beloved family will be like that one day. I will be like that one day. These were the feelings that triggered him to leave home, not because he was irresponsible, right? Then, of course, the fourth sight, he saw a holy man. Then he also realized, this holy man has nothing. This kind of people who carries nothing, owns nothing, but they're still happy. And he is such a rich prince, being overprotected. He's got 3 palaces, summer, winter palace, summer palace, spring palace, semua ada. So he realized, wow, he's been protected. But he's not happy. Every day he has got a bevy of ladies to sing for him, to dance for him, to see. Those days got no television. So entertainment is only these people dancing, singing. You see Chinese shows, So again, he reflected, Alamak, I have all this, but still I'm confused, I'm not happy. And look at this kind of ascetics who owns nothing, but they look so happy, so serene. Then he felt something, that he thinks that he should go out to find a solution. So these are the things that reflect, that triggered him to leave his luxurious palace. So these are the things that sometimes we have to reflect. So I see his quality, that I like to emulate and try to realize how to end, our suffering. So one way is what we can do is we do a lot of charitable work. That's what we do today, charity and helping people who needs our help. So that's what little we can do. And then we practice his teaching so that we can get out of samsara, teaching that he has found on his own, the truth that he found on his own. So these things that we have to emulate. Don't waste his effort, Don't waste the Buddha's effort. Penat-penat, he's 6 years of suffering in the forest, go and torture himself there, follow all kinds of teachings. Don't let this all go to waste. So we must try to emulate. I see a lot of my old people logging in, people from Malacca, old ladies. So I have to speak in a little bit of bahasa Peranakan sikit-sikit so that kita understand lebih sikit Okay. So he saw he saw all this. So then then he realized since man is not perfected by nature, he has to train himself. He realized that we have to train ourselves. It's not for free. He realized that we are not perfected by nature. But we have to train ourselves to be good. So that's why morality becomes our most important quality as a Buddhist. So that's why, again, I will cover that the 5 precepts. We say that for the new Buddhists, 5 precepts, this I covered. I'm just repeating for those who are not too clear, they have asked questions. So again, we say that, this morality in life is important. Why is it important? That's why we are taking our 5 precepts. And these 5 precepts, again, I have said it before, it is not a vow. Don't worry so much about your 5 precepts and say that, I killed a mosquito, I do this, I did that, I drank a bit of liquor. Don't worry, these are only guidelines. We are not perfect, like I've said earlier. Since man is not perfected by nature, we have to train ourselves to be good. We have been living in samsara, with all these kind of bad, ill practices, life and life, over through life and life and life. So today we know a bit of things. Don't worry so much. We will try to adhere to our 5 precepts. It is not a vow. Don't worry so much. It's not a vow. So it is just a precept. Therefore, it is what we call, it's a self-restraining practice. We restrain ourselves from this kind of misconduct if we can. Definitely, we don't kill, correct? And definitely, we don't steal. Definitely, we don't misbehave. We don't have sexual misconduct. We are humans. We are not like animals. So we don't abuse sexually. And then we believe that we don't tell lies. So we restrain ourselves from all these 5 things. Then again, we say that we don't want our mind to be clouded by liquor. By the influence of liquor, wine, liquor, and all the things. So we must restrain. Or these are self-restraint. So this is self-cultivation. This is self-cultivation. You cultivate non-violence. You cultivate all these things. Although this is a moral practice. So that is the purpose, and the Buddha went through this. So the precept that enables the journey to experience the root meaning of itself. When we say self-cultivation of non-violence, what do you mean? So we go through this and see, we realize that the meaning itself is there. Initially, we obey the precepts. Yes, initially, when we don't understand yet, there sometimes we build on faith. Then we just observe it, and then later we will realize and cherish the tone of the quality, leading us to realize the pain of rituals and the rituals of pain. So we realize now. So this is self-cultivation. That's what I meant all along. For those maybe who were not too clear, I hope this is clearer this time. So again, that is what we said. Then also we have covered on, we have already said that his teachings are very practical and appropriate for listeners. That is because when the Buddha speaks something, when the Buddha says something, he looks at the crowd. There is a case where a monk knows his social gathering, we say. He must know his social gathering, whether it's gathering of noble warriors, social gatherings of Brahmins, or social gathering of householders. So he must know whom we are talking to. In our case, every Sunday, we are talking to 99.9% of householders. So we let us all discuss things that is suitable for householders. Okay? So householders. So our groups of listeners are householders. So then, of course, the most important thing is we have touched on is the Buddha's teaching on conflict. This is a little bit, I did not elaborate much also. So the teachings on conflict. He touched on the teachings of conflict. He taught us to understand and overcome conflict. What is conflict and the Buddhist analysis of conflict? So we try to understand this part. So we have covered the part where we say that the Buddha taught us that the blame of conflict lies within us rather than outside us. That means it is within rather than without or external influences. It lies in the unskillful habits of our mind. Kami otak ni kadang-kadang macam-macam bila kita think habitual. We don't trust people And then a habitual that when we see something we want these are the habitual things So we call this unskillful habits of the mind. Rather than it's without. No, it's not that money is poison. No, correct? Money is evil. No, that's what we are trying to say here. Money is not evil. It is the mind that made money evil. Correct? It is the wanting of that money. It is the grasping of that wanting of more and more money. And that becomes evil, not the money. Money itself is neutral. Correct? So nothing is evil from the outside, but it's from the inside. That's what we say. It's from within. That's what we try to understand. The unskillful habits of the mind. That is the cause of all this conflict. Not the item. Okay? We fight over money. We say money is evil. Money is not evil. Money is a useful commodity today. Useful for everybody. But because of our wanting, because of our greed for more and more, then that becomes evil. Women is not evil. It's just the mind that makes them evil. Women are innocent as we are, more innocent as a baby also. But our mind make them guilty, which is wrong. Our mind is guilty, not the women. So this is the things that we have to understand. And we call these unskillful habits of the mind. So these unskillful habits of the mind, and sometimes the culprit in this case, we have identified that we call it in the Pali term, it's called papancha. Papancha. What do you mean by papancha here? We have defined again. I will define again now. Papancha is where one's imagination goes wild. It's proliferation. So it is where one's imagination goes wild. It begins with perceiving something, and then through a proliferation of thinking. Macam-macam di otak, think, itu proliferate. The minds will proliferate. So it is through the proliferation of thinking process result in an imagined reality. So kita kadang-kadang ni kita nampak, kita macam-macam kita fikir, and then we think that is true, So we get angry, we can become angry, become sad, or become happy for that matter, macam-macam lah, that lists lah. So this is what we have to be very careful, and this will result in an imagined reality that is completely different from the original perception. Correct? The original intention was like that, but kita putar. I think in our local language, they be putar, our mind will keep on spinning, and then this becomes, the end product becomes so different from what it's meant to be. So in other words, we get stuck in our head and lose contact with reality. We don't see in the present. Right? We see in the future. We see in the past. What for? This is the present. So don't let the mind proliferate, we say. This is the process. The process where we, in Pali term, the Buddha used papancha. Okay? So we have discussed conflict from related suttas, like, okay, we have also touched on the related suttas, like the Sakapangha Sutta and the Kalaha Vivada Sutta. Okay, this is about the question by Lord Saka and also quarrels and dispute. We have covered this on Sakapangha. We say Lord Saka asked the Buddha what's the cause. The Buddha said, dear and not dear to you. Correct? So that is the cause of all conflict when we have things that are dear and not dear to you. We will elaborate today maybe a little bit. And also this morning, we will put in 2 more suttas and we will discuss briefly, and our discussion will be based on the Madhupindika Sutta, the ball of honey, and also the Tuvataka Sutta. Tuvataka Sutta. So we will base on these 2 suttas. So to understand, this will address how to understand and overcome this minds macam-macam lah, this proliferation of the mind, the papancha. So this will help us. We hope that these 2 suttas, some small extracts here and there lah. We're not going into deep study of the suttas lah, but simple extract that we can make us understand what is this papancha all about. What is this mind proliferation all about? What is this macam-macam kita fikir lah, ini macam-macam lah kita fikir ni lah. This is because based on what? So quickly in the Tuvataka Sutta, the Buddha says, root of the categories of papancha is perception. Remember, the word is perception. Perception, why we say it's a cause? Because we say, I am the thinker. I'm thinking about this. From this self-reflexive thoughts. So these thoughts come from yourself. The word I and self is in. You see? So this is a problem. When I comes in, self comes in, is a problem. Then when you come in, we come in. I, you, mine, yours. This will be the cause. Number of categories can be derived lah, macam-macam lah. Then we say being or not being. We can say me or not me, mine, not mine, doer. People who are done to. So these are the things lah. So what do you mean? When we say, the Buddha says here that I am the thinker, that the root of the categories papancha is the perception. and the perception of what? That I exist, you exist, ours, mine, yours. This category comes in. So once oneself becomes things like that, when we become object, and we become object, we call it objectification. We objectify ourselves, that we, ini beratan I, banyak besar yang I, that I become the main object. Itu dia masalah lah. Kalau lu sudah singgung, ngomel buntut sikit, sudah marah lah. So that is the meaning of this objectification of the I. So we say that once oneself becomes a thing like I, we, you, us, me, mine, yours, it is impossible not to be connected or affected by the perception. It's impossible. When you say I, you, mine, right? Semua sudah hancur lah kata. Kena bahasa kata semua sudah hancur lah. That we have objectified ourselves. And when there is a sense of identification with something that experiences, correct? I have experienced that. What happened? Then based on the feeling arising from sensory contact, the contact I have seen, then the feeling comes in. See? Betul? Then this thing comes in. Then feeling will form. Worth it? Kalau kita suka, the feeling, we are attracted to it. That is what the Buddha explained to Lord Saka. What is dear and not dear to you is the cause of conflict. What does that mean? Means that if we have experienced something that we like, from this sensory contact, like example, your eyes have contacted something that you like that form, what happens? If it's worth it, kita mau itu barang lah, kita mau lah. If it is not worth it, kita takut, kita push it away. That is our problem lah. Suka kita mau, tak suka kita tolak lah. That is our problem today. That's what the Buddha says here. There is a sense of identification with something that experiences, that based on that feeling. Kata mata sudah nampak, based on that contact, the feeling arise. And when the feeling arise, this is the problem will start lah. That we like, then we want. If we dislike, we push away. This is where all this starts, okay? That means this feeling gets attracted, desire will arise. Okay? So when this desire arises, and others will seem not worth appealing, worth pushing away, correct? From there grows desire, which comes in conflict with the desire of others who are also engaging in papancha. We always think, we always think that what we like, we take lah, we fail to think, we fail to realize others may also like it. Betul tak? We fail to realize, we fail to realize. When we say, I like it, I take first, I don't care. We forgot others also like it. No, why not we just touch a bit and then leave others for the rest? Leave the rest for others to try. Tada. You see, example now. So this kind of thing, jadi gaduh lah, we say, become cause of conflict. I did not explain in detail on dear and not dear to you lah. Last time, when I said the Lord Sakas and the Buddha explained dear and not dear to you, so this now we explain to you. Now, sometimes, because we like, we think that people don't like. We forgot people like it also, Tapi kita ingat kita suka tu, kita lagi bersalah because I want, I very big. You think that's a problem? The Buddha says because this I saw, so I want, I take first. Leaving others behind tenganga lah, they don't get anything. This is the cause of conflict. Example, I give you a very good example. I have been to many of these itu lunch buffet, because sometimes in Malacca those days, we have got lunch buffet that they only charge 50% for seniors like me lah. So after our Sunday Pūjā and all that, we will go for this lunch buffet lah. So we have all attended many buffets in our life now, of course. And once I've seen before, sekali the prawns came out, or tray of prawns came out. There's a group of people, 10 of them in the table. The tray came out, they rushed to it, they took the whole tray to the table, Because they like the prawns. They failed to realize that we also like the prawns. They failed to realize that we are also waiting for the prawns. So dia nampak, saya dah nampak itu waiter brought the whole tray of prawns on to put there, display on the shelf. They grab the whole tray and they put it on the table. So the rest of us, what to do? So what will happen now? Supposing, what do you mean by cause of conflict? Because you have forgotten that we also like it. That's what we are saying just now. We think that we like it, it's worth it for us. We forgot that the others are thinking alike. The others are thinking alike. So what happened? If our group of people or the rest of the people down there were to pass remarks, oh yeah, these people are so, never think of others lah. So inconsiderate, so greedy, and we pass the remarks. What happened? If they hear such remarks, what happened? Jadi gaduh lah. So that is why we say it's the cause of conflict. We have failed. We have failed to realize that others may also like it because we objectify the I, we very, very, very big. So when I, we become the objectification, so it breeds external contact, it breeds external connection, which is not good lah. So external contention lah, So that is why we say that we have to be very careful lah. We have to be very careful when we objectify the I, we, yours, mine. We must be very careful. But when you objectify these things, meaning to say that we believe that these are permanent things. We believe that this I is permanent. You believe that the you is permanent. The we are permanent. The they are permanent. Ours is important. Yours is important. Mine is important. When we objectify these things, then this conflict arises. Now, I think I put it in a very simple way for many of my friends in Malacca, many old ladies I've been with today. So we can understand lah, kita boleh faham sikit-sikit lah, macam lah, what do we mean by kita objectify, and then what do we mean by this sort of thing lah. Because when we see something nice, we take first lah. We think we never thought that others may like it lah. We have always failed to think that others may like it. We only besarkan diri sendiri lah. That is the meaning lah. So objectification of self lah. Okay. So if one who considers attentively certain factors which should not be considered, there arises the defilement of sense pleasure that has not yet arisen. So this sense pleasure lah, mostly all this is because of the sense pleasure lah. So the sense pleasure that we have to really take care lah. We have to take care of our sense pleasures. Make sure that whatever has arisen, contain it lah. Don't let it go wild lah. Once our sense pleasure has arisen, we must contain it. But before they arise, we must not allow it to arise. If we can, we must make effort not to allow this kind of unnecessary things to arise. Because the defilement of sense pleasures, don't let it arise. If it has arisen, we contain it, contain it slowly. But we practice not to let it arise. If you can, when it has arisen, we discard it. We cannot do, we just control it. Okay, here the Buddha says the defilement of sense pleasure has not, then what is this sense pleasure? The cause of this sense pleasure is also sometimes we can say it's all ignorance. Ignorance not to realize that others have the same sense pleasures as we have. Okay? So now we talk about how can we end this process. How to end this process. Now we say that this is how to end this process. Through a shifting perception, through a shift in perception caused by the way one attends to feelings using the category of appropriate attention. So we must be very careful to let these things, how to overcome. Now we know, we have spoken about things that we like, we dislike, objectification of self. So how can we end this process? That is important. How do we end this process? In simple language, ini tamak my attitude lah. How do you end this process lah? Through the shift of perception caused by the way one attends to feelings. Correct? See, the way we attend to our feelings lah is the cause lah. So how to end it is to look into the way carefully of how we attend to our feelings lah. Jangan mau puaskan diri sajalah in kita punya bahasa Melaka lah, isn't it? Don't use this kind of category, using the category appropriate attention. In other words, now you must attend to it with very appropriate attention. Correct. Don't simply let it go wild. You can attend, you can go to the Sabbasava Sutta, all the fermentations. These are all the fermentations the Buddha says. And also in the Sakapangha, the Buddha has also, okay. So I will not go through this again. I'm sure we have gone through the Sakapangha Sutta in quite detail, although I did not complete to you the whole thing, but it was enough for us to understand what do we mean by we're using the categories of appropriate attention. You can refer also to Sabbasava Sutta, Asava, all the savas, all the fermentations. Asavas, the Sabbasava Sutta, and also we have discussed on the Sakapangha Sutta. Rather than viewing this feeling, sometimes we view this feeling as appealing or unappealing. This is one way that we can overcome. Jangan kita nampak ini feeling, sedap, ini tak sedap. Okay, rather than viewing a feeling as appealing or not appealing. Remember, the Buddha says the cause of conflict is dear and not dear to you. The Buddha told that to Sakapangha. To Saka. In the Sakapangha Sutta, the Buddha said cause of conflict, what is dear to you and not dear to you. What is dear and not dear to you, then you view this feeling because we like this feeling. This feeling is appealing, we like. So that's dear to you. This feeling is unappealing. This thing is unappealing, we dislike. So this is the cause. What we like, we take. What we dislike, we give to people. We forgot they also like the same thing we like I said earlier. So this is the cause, okay? So now we must view this kind of feeling that is appealing or not appealing. One should look at it as part of a casual process. When a particular feeling is pursued, this particular feeling is pursued, the Buddha always says like that. Does it bring you woeful or skillful qualities of the mind? Does it bring you to the skillful quality of the mind or unskillful quality of the mind? So we must think. When we say that we like these things, will it lead you to unwholesome thoughts or lead you to wholesome thoughts in simple language? Skillful qualities of the mind increase or unskillful qualities of the mind increase. So that's why we have to be very careful, okay? I will give you an example. This one I just cita, then I'll give you a very good example recently that I just experienced this, not very long ago, a few hours ago, just 24 hours ago, I guess. Okay, I'll share with you a certain experience. So if skillful qualities increase, then this feeling may be pursued. But if unskillful qualities increase, it shouldn't. Okay? Now, when seeing this, there is a tendency to opt for more refined feelings, and this cuts through the act of thinking that, according to some suttas, provides the basis of papancha. Correct? This is the basis of papancha. You like it, right? This is what the Buddha said. We're just re-emphasizing these things. See, we are always talking in this following program. We are always talking about the notion of agent and victim is avoided. Okay, and self-reflexive thinking in general. There is simply the analysis of cause-effect process. Remember, one is still making use of dualities, the distinguishing between skillful and unskillful, and affliction and lack of affliction, the results of unskillful and skillful qualities. But the distinction is between the process, not the things. The process is the thing. Don't let it process in your mind, Don't. When you let it process, they will come to a result, and that result is unskillful. Don't let it process, is what the Buddha says. But remember, the distinction is between the process, not thinking. Okay. Thus, one's analysis avoid the type of thinking that, according to Sakapanga Sutta, depend on perception and categories of a pancha, and in this way, the vicious cycle of which thinking and papancha keeps feeding each other is cut. We must cut this pancha and this thinking. Huh? Okay. Example, I give you example in the Tuva Taka Sutta. Okay, I give you my first. Okay, I will just read through it and I'll share with you. Okay, maybe it's difficult to understand if I read through to you, but I will share with you my recent experience. Huh? The Buddha says this very clearly, seeing in what way is among unbound, clinging to nothing in the world. You should put an entire stop to the root of objectification, classification. I am the thinker. He should train always mindful to subdue any craving inside him. Whatever truth he may know, within or without, he should not get entrenched in connection with it, for that is called unbinding by the word. He shouldn't, because of it, think himself better, lower, or equal. What does that mean? Okay, I explain to you. One day, recently, not one day, very, very recently, less than 24 hours ago, maybe. We met this wonderful teacher, wonderful teacher who we respect very much. But in school, sometimes some teachers, they only teach certain subjects. Some are specialist teachers, they only teach certain subjects, and they don't go through all the classrooms, in the school, correct? They only have certain classrooms to take only. So, okay, this wonderful chap, he specializes in certain subjects only, whereby he's a wonderful teacher in this classroom that he teaches. People all respect him very much, They respect him very much. But one day, when he went out to when he was walking in the school, he noticed that the other school children walk through him only. They don't greet him, good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir, or pass, sir, putara, because they don't realize he was a teacher. Right? He was so specialized. So what happened? He became very unhappy. Became very unhappy. He says that students didn't respect him as a teacher. So this is exactly what the Buddha says. He complains so much. So that's what the Buddha says here. Because he's a teacher and the students walk through him, he's a specialist teacher. People do not know he was a teacher, but he was a good teacher. But he became very annoyed and says that he is not respected in the school. Why am I not respected in the school? This is exactly what we say, papancha. The Buddha has said it in the Tuvataka Sutta. The Buddha said it very clearly. Okay, whatever truth he may know within or without, remember, he shouldn't get entrenched in connection with it, for that isn't called unbinding by the good. He shouldn't because of it. Why? Because he was thinking for himself, thinking about himself. Is objectification of self. He thinks that himself is equal or better than others. That is the cause. Whereby you think you are equal or better than others, people don't greet you, you become angry. Why you greet other teachers, you don't greet me? I'm also a teacher. Why? Correct? That is the cause. Or sometimes even when people become too humble also, or they think they're equal or lower, also may have this problem. So the Buddha says he shouldn't, because of it, think himself better, lower, or equal. So if you objectify yourself, that this is me, a teacher, equal to the other teacher, or I am a teacher equal or better than the other teachers, I'm a more senior teacher. But when the students don't respect me, I become angry because I objectify myself. That self, we objectify that self, and that is the cause of conflict also. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say. But maybe I can read through you again. These are many of you can ask me this stanza. I can send to you, no problem. You should put an entire stop to the root of objectification or classification. I am the thinker. Exactly what he says. I am the thinker. I am the teacher. He should train always mindful to subdue any craving inside him, whatever knowledge he has, or whatever truth he may know, within or without, from within or from without, unbinding, for it is called unbinding by the good. He shouldn't, because of it, think himself as better, think himself as lower, or think himself as equal. So when you have this kind of masalah, kita ingat kita lagi pandai, kita ingat kita lagi bodoh, kalau kita sama dia sama, then it's a problem. So don't compare. In short, we don't objectify ourselves, we just don't compare with others. Kita just live our life. If we can do, we do. We cannot do, we cannot do. Habis. We don't compare why I cannot do, why he can do. Why I can do better, why he cannot do better. Why I do more, why he do less. This kind of why I causes a conflict. So just do what we are assigned to do what we can do, serve the community with no comparison. Kadang nanti sakit hati lah, kita cakap sini lah, betul. And then this sakit hati is the one that you protest. Now it causes you to protest. Like this teacher, they protest. Why the student never recognize me? Why the student don't recognize me? Because of this lah. So the Buddha says he should not, because of it, think himself better, lower, or equal. Jadi kita pun mau belajar lah. Kita jangan compare ourselves with others. And we think we are better. And why these people appreciate him more and not me? I'm better than him, you know. Why they appreciate him more? Because of that lah. Kita compare lah. Kalau kita tak compare, kita punya life is just neutral. Correct. But because we want to compare, we are better. Then you have this kind of problem lah. Okay. So kadang-kadang kita pun mau belajar macam ni lah. I've used this before. We say that, you know, we must become very humble lah. Humble like what? You know, if you do mountain climbing, kita ada pernah naik ski dah, sungai-sungai kita naik ski kah, kita pergi mountain climbing kah, you know, we go to waterfall. You see, kita lalu this water, the water that in the mountain, the small clefts, itu sikit-sikit lubang, the water flow, and the small waterfall, the gushing sound is very loud lah. Chaw, 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 very loud sound lah. When water flow a little bit, tapi dia bunyi banyak kuat lah. Kalau kita perhati lah, we are mindful, we look at it. Those small clefts in the mountain that the water flows, and the small little waterfall, you hear loud gushes of streamlets. Right? Chaw, chaw, water flow. Tapi itu sungai, itu Nile, river Nile, Yangtze River, those huge rivers that carry tons and tons and tons of water, they flow without a sound. So we must be inspired by this. Okay? We must be inspired by the huge river, Mississippi River, Nile River, Yangtze River. They flow with tons and tons of water per minute. No sound. That little clefts in the mountain, air keluar sikit tu bunyi sha, 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 hanya kuat lah. Contribution kecil bunyi kuat apa bikin. So we must be inspired by this saying lah. That learn from these waters lah, in the mountain clefts and chasm, loud gushes the streamlet, but great rivers flow silently. Okay, so we learn that. So in conclusion, I mentioned to you ourselves the defilements. So we must learn now. We learn, of course, maybe next week we can touch a little bit on this. We must learn to overcome these ourselves or the defilements. Should be removed through restraint. We are all talking about restraint all the time. We must remove all these ourselves, all these defilements in us through restraint. Can also be removed through patience. Okay, all these bad habits that we have, all the defilements that we have can also be removed through patience. And also these defilements can be removed through avoidance. Like we avoid this situation. We avoid the situation. And also can be removed through rejection. Okay? And then also one way it can be removed is also we always chant the Bojjhanga Sutta, the 7 factors of enlightenment. Apply the 7 factors of enlightenment to remove the defilements in our life. Okay, the defilements in our life can be removed. also through the cultivation of the factors of enlightenment, the Bojjhanga, there's Sati, Dhamma Vicaya, Virya, Piti, Passaddhi, Samadhi, and Upekka. So through these qualities, we can remove the defilements in us. Okay, the defilements that actually clouds our mind, make us like drunkard. We don't see things clearly. They convey the idea of something flowing out that intoxicate or befundles a mind. Okay, so these asavas are classified into 4 categories. So asavas that we have, these defilements, I think we should not touch on this. So these defilements also, we have to learn to remove what kind of defilements they are. That these defilements, they are usually classified as a gross attachment to craving for the 5 sense object. That's karma sava. That is, for these defilements, we have to remove the bhasava, a craving for better existence, such as rupa, arupa planes of existence, the belief that they are permanent, stable, and constant. This craving occurs with a sasata ditti, with a misconception, with the belief in eternalism. Okay? And these asavas, ajivasava, the defilement or lack of comprehension of the Four Noble Truths through the Magga insight. Okay, so these are the dittasava, or the defilement that is false belief. So these are the defilements that we have that we should be removed. We say again, through restraint, through patience, through avoidance, through rejection, through the factors of enlightenment, and we can remove these defilements and we can become a better person in our life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With that, I say thank you again for your attention. I hope this time is clearer for some of you all. Thank you so much. And over to you, Sister Lily.
Thank you, Brother Tan, for your insightful Dhamma sharing. As Brother Tan said, it's important to reflect on the nature of life as impermanence. And it's timely that we need to be able to practice to be good. And how to do that is by keeping our morality trainings, by restraining ourselves from unwholesome thoughts, especially when our minds proliferate. We should instead develop wholesome thoughts in our minds by understanding how our mind works, the proliferation, and at the same time, we can constantly guard our 6 sense doors to achieve a state of peace and to reduce conflict in our life. Thank you, Brother Tan, for your timely reminder. Dear brothers and sisters, we have spent about 1 hour and 10 minutes this morning reflecting on the teachings of the Buddha. During this time, we have kept our minds wholesome and thus have accrued abundant merits. As such, let's dedicate the merits accrued to our guardian devas and all beings dwelling far or near, seen or unseen, born or yet to be born. We shall also remember our dear ones who have passed away, and may we dedicate the merits to all of our departed ones. May the merits help them to attain to happy states. May our loved ones too be free from fear, danger, and have sickness at all times too. Last but not least, may the merits that we have acquired be supportive conditions for us to never follow the ways of the foolish, but to always associate with the wise until the time we can attain final liberation soonest. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Akasatta ca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Etavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe bhuta sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya. That's all for today's Sunday Pūjā and Dhamma sharing. Thank you all for joining us today. Do join us next week for another inspiring journey to seek the truth as taught by the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.